good morning, good morning. We have some stuff. We have some stuff. We have some stuff. We got some stuff. We got some stuff. We got some stuff. So let me just set up real quick. If y'all probably heard, the one big beautiful bill is back at the House. It was passed by the Senate, which means the OBBB is probably gonna take some charge. So we gotta do our part to see what's going on out there in the hallways, because the hallways are talking right now. The hallways are talking. I hope your day was good yesterday. I hope your day was good yesterday. I hope it was. I hope it was. Okay, we're good on that part. Let's do our disclaimer. And then we can get started. Disclaimer: the videos presented here are for informational purposes only, and therefore, if you are to choose to attend the institution, please do your own research and consult with a specialist at the institution that you are interested in. I am not a financial aid specialist, academic advisor, or representing any institution. Speaking on behalf of Creator, Henry is only speaking from his experience. Now let's rock out. Now let's rock out. All right. All right. All right. All right. Mr. Hart, he says that, right? I believe he does. So, as I said before, the one big beautiful bill was passed by the Senate. Now, right now, they said, I know Green, I think her name, Marjorie Green, has said it's a S show right now. She was cussing. She says S show right now. She says Green says Johnson does not have votes to pass the big beautiful bill. It's a S show right now. So of course they're arguing, as we said, they're debating. That's according to The Hill as a media outlet. You got NPR. There's a whole bunch of them up here. I really don't know what's the actual, like, what's, I want to know exactly, like, they're closed, they're cold, hot or warm. We don't know none of that. We're on the outside looking in. And so I do not have my Wi-Fi on. Okay, we should be good now, guys. I gotta turn that Wi-Fi on right quick. Okay. Just in case. And then now, so that's the case. I'm gonna click on The Hill, because The Hill seems like they giving me a little something. What's her name? Marjorie Taylor? Yeah. Marjorie Taylor Greene. They said, or she said, she predicted a tough battle ahead for President Trump agenda, setting the one big beautiful bill act. As the tax and spending mega bill returns to the House following this dramatic Senate passage Tuesday, describing the situation as a S show. But they know they be cussing. I don't recall politicians cussing this much when I was growing up. At least I didn't see it. Let me just say that. She said, there's no way Speaker Johnson, they quoted her, there's no way Speaker Mike Johnson has the votes in the House for this, Green told political pundit and Trump ally Steve Bannon on an episode of his War Room podcast. I think it's far from over. So it sounds like it's going to be cold for a second. I don't think it's going to get, at least by Miss Green, Marjorie Taylor Greene, according to her, it seems cold. And it seems like it won't be done before, because the deadline is July 4th. Oh, G up in here. Gotta appreciate G while you're here for a second. G, how you making it? How was the live yesterday? Yeah, live yesterday was pretty good, G. We had, it says we had 67 views. People was popping in. Some people stayed for like a good bit of time. I don't know who they were. It wasn't you or Alice Marie. So, but people was coming in. It was pretty good. Pretty good live screen. Won't be able to stay too long. Got to go run some errands in a few minutes. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that, G. Ain't nothing wrong with that. And then, so yeah, it seems pretty cold right now. And then we're gonna go look at some other notes on this news about the Chronicles of Higher Education. We get that good content for them. So they said colleges fare better in the Senate's version of President Trump's much touted big beautiful bill than they did in the House. Okay. And then they said right here, all right, we already talked about this. That lets you know, guys, that we have been following this pretty good. So Pell students won't have to take more classes. We all obviously been saying that. They said the House wanted students to enroll in a 30 semester hours per year, meaning they take 15 per credit hour per semester. But remember, the Senate took that out. And so per year, and they wanted them to do that, take 30 credit hours per year to qualify for full Pell grants. And then it was up from 24 under current law. And it said, and they wanted to eliminate grants for students taking less than 15 credit hours per year. Senators ditched the changes altogether. We talked about that. Just had to go back over it. And then it said fewer student lending changes. Senators didn't adopt a House plan to eliminate subsidized federal undergraduate loans. So subsidized, according to my peers, subsidized loans were pretty good. They preferred to keep subsidized loans. They should have got rid of the unsubsidized loans instead of subsidized, because I'd rather keep my interest rates the same versus my interest rates moving constantly. So the fact that they're getting rid of, the fact that they're going to get rid of or still plan on getting rid of the subsidized federal undergraduate loans is a little pinchy. It's a little pinchy. And I'm going back G. Yeah, that's insane. 30 credit hours is too much. Very too much. We might as well not go to school in that case, G. And so G, okay, G is one of my top fans. All right, I see. The Senate still increased the deficit by $3 trillion, which is more than the House's 2.4. Yes, subsidized loans is why there are still a lot of doctors and professionals who haven't paid off their loans in their 40s. Gee, because the interest rates were so low, it didn't make sense to pay them off early. G said they pretty much need pressure. They pretty much need pressure to make them pay more. And then workforce Pell survive. So that's the one I've been trying to understand a little bit. Workforce Pell survive, expanding Pell grant availability to short-term programs as bipartisan support. But the Senate, parliamentarian initially nixed an expansion. Senators sidestepped that ruling by limiting the New York workforce Pell grants to accredited institutions and boxing out those that are unaccredited. All right, that's good. Boxing out those that are unaccredited. But a workforce Pell grant, I'm trying to think what they mean by workforce Pell grant, because if they saying workforce Pell grant, that's been around. Because I was using that I wasn't probably using it. Let me not tell the story. I believe I was using, it's called something else. I think it was called Zelle. I think I was using Zelle when I was doing trades. My financial aid, I fell under that Zelle. I think that's what it was called. When I was doing like the trades and stuff, which is essentially workforce. Gotta hydrate, guys. Gotta hydrate. So, They're talking about immigrants. That's not our realm. They said, but make no mistake, senators still handed higher ed bitter pills to swallow. Let's see. Because higher ed ain't getting off the hook. They better not let them off the hook. So penalties for poor earning outcomes. Let's see what they're talking about, guys. Senators abandoned the House complex risk sharing plan. Yeah, because they were crying. Higher ed professionals and where am I paying that? Higher ed professionals and people in higher ed and everybody else who think they work in higher ed were crying over that. They were crying over that risk sharing plan. They didn't even have enough time to learn it fully because they were so scared. It says House they got rid of the risk sharing plan, which would have had institutions putting money into a new pot of federal aid if their students struggle to repay loans. I wish they would have did that because that would have made schools really care more about their students and put more student activities, not like campus activities like partying and stuff or bringing people to the campus, but really putting like we said yesterday, I believe we said it yesterday. The schools will do renovations on the stadiums, the basketball gyms. You know, I talk about that, right? But more of all, I wish they would put more like academic advisors in the school, more career advisors, more tutors, more student support needs. That's what one of the faculty professionals said from UPenn. She mentioned that, like more support tools. Because if you ever go, at least I know the schools I've been to, it's always not enough of like academic advisors or tutors or blah 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 blah. And then if they do, it's like booked up. And so then you have to wait. And it's like I might as well go to somebody who is just in my class better. So I don't know my voice going out. Probably been talking too much. But it said G has been saying because the interest rate was so low. Okay. G right here said, I think schools would have been far more selective about accepting students for sure. And then G said it should be student support, but like I said above, I'm sure it would be that. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And then as we add on to it, where we at? Instead, the Senate passed a plan would yank. Instead, the Senate passed a plan that would yank federal loan eligibility from programs whose graduates don't get an earnest bump. I'm gonna read that again. I'm gonna put that in the chat for you all because they typed that very weird. I think they was typing too fast. I really think they typed it too fast, but it's okay. I won't judge them. Instead, the Senate passed a plan that would yank federal loan eligibility from programs who graduates don't get an earnest bump. Who graduates don't get an earnest bump? How they know if a graduate don't get an earnest bump? That didn't make sense to me. That's why I was reading it like 3 or 4 times. All right, help me out with y'all. I'll put it in the chat. Let me know what y'all think. Okay. Like I'm a little jumbled. They said like, all right, G, let's talk this out. From what you just read, G, if I'm reading this right, are they saying that they would yank federal loan eligibility from programs whose graduates don't get an earnest bump? Are they saying that? Is that what they're saying? They do, trust me, they do. They do. So, but if they are trying to yank federal loan eligibility from programs who graduates don't get an earnest bump, how do you know somebody doesn't? How do you know a graduate don't get an earnest bump? But how do you know if somebody don't get how do you know if you want to get an earnest bump or not? Like that can be a drastic change, like a career field or a company can get a raise. They can, I don't know, like have money coming out of nowhere. That's, I don't know, it's a little confusing. Senators tweaked the details in the days leading up to Tuesday's vote so that colleges would be judged on the earnings of their graduates. but not dropouts. Okay. Senators tweak the details in the days leading up to Tuesday's vote so that colleges. Okay. Okay. Because they remember this is about penalties for poor earnings outcomes. It also makes schools got to work hard to, I guess, get connections so students can have a great return on investment when graduating. Because if you got low earnings when coming out of college, I'm trying to see how they gonna test you. Cause the federal loan eligibility, they've been saying like they're gonna lower the federal loan eligibility if the students are not making that much when they graduate. So the school will get less federal loans. Like they won't be able to, the student won't be able to get that much of a federal loan by going to that school. Remember, this is more or less going to be. This is gonna be toward primarily for public schools for sure. This is all about public. Ivy's getting hit, but Ivy's, I don't know. We talked about Brown University yesterday, and Brown University, they going through it. They are going through it. Don't even get me started on Brown University. They embarrassed themselves yesterday. And then right here it's called curtailed federal lending. Federal lending. The Senate agreed with House plans to eliminate Graduate Plus loans. The Senate agreed with House plans to eliminate Graduate Plus loans. We talked about that yesterday. And so, Graduate Plus loans, oh man, that's a lot. I'm gonna go down that rabbit hole. Let me keep going real quick. Senators also agreed to add caps to lending programs, which is good to a certain extent, and we'll talk about that. Though the exact levels differ between the chambers, senators set a maximum lifetime borrowing up. Oh, senators set a maximum lifetime borrowing cap at $257,500, nearly $60,000 higher than the House wanted. So I'm gonna put this in here because so that stuff that happened the other day was political theater. What you talking about, G? What was political theater? What was political theater? Waiting on G like dun na 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 na. And then we keep going. It'll probably drop in when we start talking. I always do that for some reason. So right here we're talking about federal lending. So we all know, I spoke on it. They want to get rid of Graduate Plus loans. You know how I feel about loans. I think you should get rid of them. But the world would probably go crazy if you took away these Graduate Plus loans. But the Senate agreed with the House plans to eliminate Graduate Plus loans. And then they also said right here, senators set a maximum lifetime borrowing cap at $257,500. That's why I put it in the chat. And I put that in the chat. I thought you were talking about the subpoena. Nah, I'm not talking about that. But I am talking about this. You get a lifetime of borrowing. The subpoena for price fixing, that's the word you meant to use? FOOR? Oh, four. You meant to say four. I know what you meant to say. Subpoena for price fixing for Ivies. I didn't see that subpoena, G. I didn't see that. So they got okay, I didn't know that. I didn't know they got subpoenaed. I didn't know that. I really didn't know that. Alright. I'll actually tap into that right now. I'm gonna Google search it real quick and then we'll come back to it. If you're not here, I'll still go over it. Ivies me see. I ain't not hear about that. Oh wow, they did. All right, appreciate that, G. I didn't even hear about this. They didn't even talk about this at all. I didn't even see this posted on LinkedIn or nothing. How did that get past me? I didn't even CNBC didn't even post that on LinkedIn. How dare they? Appreciate that, G. That got past us. We didn't even mention that yesterday. We were talking about something else completely. But so do you feel like $257,000, $257 and $500, G? Do you feel like that's enough to go to college? When you say political theater, do you mean like that's just they're not going like do you mean the Ivies are not going to change their price? They're just making a big deal for nothing? Like political theater. Cause that's 257,500. I think that's enough to go to college. I think that's more than enough to go to college. That's enough to get associates, a bachelor's, and then go straight to your law school or your PT school, whatever school you're gonna go to. Yeah, definitely more than enough. I was thinking that it has to be more than enough. Like that's more than enough. But they're saying they're gonna put a cap on that. I think that's good because in other countries, if I'm just off general, could be wrong. I know in other countries like Europe for sure, I believe they do that. Now they have student loan problems over there too, but they have a cap. So maybe we got that from them. Like it's a cap on it. So if you like for example, like I said before, there's no cap, there's no tuition freeze, there's no policy on this borrowing money in higher education. That's been the problem. Because students been like, I really believe parents and students just don't calculate the prices in advance. Some do, but most don't. And that's why we're in the situation we're in. And they love to talk about lower income people. And I'm gonna be honest, lower income people probably have not like they probably get the price for 1 year, but they never think about the over the next 3 years of rest of school, particularly undergraduate. They don't really think that far down the line. It's more like, how can we pay for this now? It's never like planned. Like, and there are supplemental loans and grants from particular schools. People are going to pay the 400 grand to go to Harvard Law regardless of the loan cap. Exactly. Cause it's Brown University charges two. I was like for 4 years at Brown University, it's like $388,000 for 4 years at Brown, and I was like, yeesh. It's like 97 grand per year at Brown, and I was like, don't get me wrong, they probably teach us something in those schoolhouses, but to be frank with you, I don't think they're teaching anything that different. I'm sparking up a debate right here, G. I don't think this Ivies are sparking up anything different. I think the Ivies just got the connections. I think, like you said, I think they just got them. Like, if I worked at a college, I would do my best, like, as a high-ranking person to make connections with, like, Goldman Sachs or Wall Street or, like, I'll try to get those connections because those Ivies, y'all got those connections, like you said, y'all got those in the back pocket. Not necessarily true. The education is leads ahead because, I got G started. Let's see what G said. I got G started, y'all. As they attract a certain type of student, they also attract a certain type of professor. But don't they teach you on Ivies how to think? Like, don't they teach you all how to be controversial? Like, to go against traditional thought processes. Don't they teach all that at Ivies? Because I don't know. I feel like if I feel like that's how it has to be. I never been to Ivy, but I feel like that's what they're doing. Because what's making y'all so different? You know, what makes y'all so much better than us public schools? Gee, I'm curious. Not at all. I got quite literally the most classical education in the world. I've been hearing that word a lot lately, G. Classical. Before you type anything else, classical. When you say hey, Columbia core curriculum is world famous, real quick, when you say classical education, are you talking about like liberal arts or something completely different? I've been seeing classical education a lot. And when I looked it up, it was giving me like liberal arts, the arts, humanities and stuff like that. What's your perspective of classical education today? Huh. You right, I'm about to look it up real quick. Get me off track. But we're gonna come back to the Big Beautiful Bill, guys. I wanna see what G is talking about with Columbia's core curriculum. Let me see. Real quick. Since I like humanities, I'm gonna click on the literature humanities. Cause what I'm seeing, well, let me let you know what I'm seeing on G first and foremost. I'm seeing art humanities, contemporary civilization, frontiers of science, literature humanities, music humanities, university writing. I'm gonna click on literature humanities, for example. There go that word philosophy. We're going to keep going more into this. Cause y'all got, cause Columbia, cause right now, G, where you at? I'm coming back to you, G. Yeah, that's it. And in addition to that education, you get the connection. I still don't think y'all. Man, G, you got to get me in Columbia then. You got to get me in. You got to recommend me. You got to put me down. Let me get my honorary doctorate degree. I deserve it, right? That what makes it worth it. If you utilize all the resources, even if you pay full price, it will be worth it. So you got to get me recommended on the admissions list. And then it says there are still a lot of concerns about the Senate bill, Senate bill. I don't know why I said Senate, the Senate bill. But they did, what they talking about? There's still a lot of concerns, but they did far less to hurt low income students. Why is it always about low income students, man? Why is it always about low income students? I get low income students like, they do know low income students. I don't know where to start. Once again, I don't know where to start. Because it says there there are still a lot of concerns about the Senate bill, but they did far less to hurt low income students than what the White House. I said the White House. And then I'm gonna say White House. I just say the House. Always the House, the White House. Yeah, they're throwing me off. But they did far less to hurt low income students than what the House would have done. Jonathan Fansmith, Senior Vice President for Government Relations and National Engagement at the American Council on Education, which is ACE, American Council on Education, told the Daily Briefing. The House is moving toward voting on the bill as soon as today. As we said before, if it passes without changes, Trump could meet his goal of signing it by July 4th, which is in 2 days. Did my Wi-Fi just go out on me? Hold on, y'all. I think it did. Can't be doing that. Wi-Fi. It just went out on me for a second. Going back to the juice, meat, and potatoes. As we said, Trump does want this signed by July 4th. That is nothing new. Trying to move fast with it. Normally you move so fast with something, but we all know the Trump administration has been moving fast with everything they do. Not really giving you time to look over anything, just pushing it out on you. And so lobbying didn't let up. It says from the president, we can have all of this right now, but only if the House GOP unites, ignores its occasional grandstanders. You know who they are. And they said it pretty loud. And does the right thing, which is sending the bill to my desk. He posted on Truth Social. They said the president didn't even want to say his name. How petty are they? From the House leaders, although it differs from the House passed version, the Senate passed the big bill. The Big Beautiful Bill is an important step to bringing down costs for American students, families, and taxpayers. See, that's why I don't like G. That's what I don't like. If you still here, G. If you still here. G's gone. G has left the chat. Appreciate you here, G. We appreciate you. Alice Marie, I will talk to you since I know you're here. And guys, don't forget, I'm from low income myself. Some things I say is just to get some attraction from you, like especially if somebody's dropping into the live screen and then they're about to leave. Saying some things to get their attention. It's part of like little marketing, right? You say some things that are very controversial. It's to get people attention, because you know the average person is not going to go back and watch the live stream all the way through, or they're not even going to go watch my old videos. They're going to go strictly off of now. So some things I say is to get your attention, like why they always focusing on low income students. And I do have my take on that and how I feel we should equip ourselves and for people who are from low income. But to stay on this, schools are saying this is misperception. Where is it? I just saw it. It says the Senate passed the Big Beautiful Bill. It said it differs from the House, but the Senate passed the Big Beautiful Bill is an important step to bringing down the cost for American students, families, and taxpayers. So they're saying the Big Beautiful Bill can help bring down costs for students, like college prices. That's what they're saying the Big Beautiful Bill could do. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know what the Big Beautiful Bill is going to do. Personally, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know what they're going to do. All I do know is that I think prices, the way it's been perceived with the what has been perceived with the one big beautiful bill is that college prices are going to go up, not down. And I haven't seen a time yet where college prices went down. I seen the prices freeze, but I never seen the prices go down. And that's the first time for everything. But colleges, I just know colleges can't go down on their prices because all of the amenities they have, and they're not getting the same rate of students enrolling. They just are not getting the same rates. So if they're not getting the same rates of people enrolling, people of students enrolling, so how could you see prices going down? Like students enrollment, that's a big revenue driver as we talk about. Like yeah, sports make some money, but probably like bigger schools make a lot of money in sports, not like other regular schools. Like you gotta think about all the other schools. The ones you see on TV probably make enough, yeah. But the ones who really don't get that much TV time and like they got pretty decent programs, they just not as big where people don't too much care to go to a college basketball game too much. Like I know for sure I don't care too much to go to a college basketball game. So think about the future of that. Now, don't get me wrong, still gonna be people going. Just because I don't go, don't mean people gonna stop going. But I'm just thinking realistically, like I don't think I know prices not gonna go down in higher education. It's only gonna go up because they keep adding stuff, and there's no barriers. There's not like a cap. Like, hey, you don't need to add no more. They don't have to go before Congress. They don't have to go before no board in higher education to add amenities to the campus. If they did, that would be a big difference in higher education pricing. But since your college has to pay light bills, since your college has to pay for jerseys, since your college has to pay for all the dining food they give you, but the students don't eat that much of it, then they throw it out and you still pay for it. Like, let me tell you, it's crazy out here. The food that your school gets, like majority of colleges get their food from the same people. Cause they have the people that they get it from. If I go look it up, now I haven't looked it up prior, and it might take me a few seconds. But when I was reading my article, one of my college articles in school, because I wrote about dining facilities in higher education, your college dining facility has an agreement with companies that are on the stock market. It all goes together. I'm not saying that it's messed up. I'm just saying if you know, then just play the game different. Don't get a meal. Don't get the meal plans at your school. Why? Because they're making way more money. Like whoever the supplier is, whoever supplying your school with food and stuff, like they banking. They making a lot of bank. And it's also the same people who serve food to prisons. How do I know that? They put that in the article. That was not me. That is in the article. They serve the same food to kids in school, depending on the school you go to. They serve the same food to certain kids in high school. They serve the same school. They serve the same food to prisons. They say they serve you the same food in college. So it's not like you getting gourmet food. It depends on the school you go to. Like I said before, some schools really take pride in their dining facilities, while some don't. Some are feeding you bull crap, and you think you're getting, oh, I'm in this nice what's that word, vicinity, or I'm in this nice area. Vicinity, it's vicinity, it's vicinity. I've been saying that word a lot lately. Don't ask me why. I've been saying that word a lot lately. Word playing good, but I will say it. I will go for it. That's who I am as a person. I will go for it. Vicinity. I believe it's vicinity. Vicinity, vicinity, vicinity. Oh, don't want to turn it up. Yeah, hold on.
Vicinity.
Yeah, I got it right. So, yeah, just keep that in mind. It's really like it's bigger than you think, guys, and it's actually in your schoolhouse. Like you just type in dining facility articles, college, like college dining facility, you will come across some of these articles. And so moving forward, it says philanthropist Arnold Ventures panned the overall bill as a budget buster, but supported its higher ed provisions, arguing they align federal spending with economic outcomes. Provisions to cap graduate lending and hold programs accountable for poor performance are important steps forward. I agree. Um, Why would you let students take a lot of money? Because we're nonpartisan. This person could be Republican or Democrat. It really doesn't matter. I'm going off what they're saying. Why would you let kids take out more money in graduate lending? They're focusing on graduate lending, but I don't mean like this in general. Why would you let kids take out more loans in undergraduate and graduate school, in my perspective, and they're in a low performing program? What's a low performing program? Well, my program ain't low performing. I would say, once again, to all my people out there who are going to school for art, no offense, this is not personal. I just know it's hard for art students to jump out and make money unless, I just know art is one of those ones, and I feel sorry for art. I'm sorry, art. So if you are an art student, completely, this is a complete example, but I know art is just one of the ones. If you are an art student and you know art makes an average return of 40 to 50 grand or lower, it's like really commission based. So when you go, you got to go to art museums and all that stuff. You got to hope people buy your art, right? And they make 30 to 50 grand when they graduate and they're stepping into that world of art. Why would you let an art major take out 200 grand? Because depending on the school they go to, they have to take out that money to keep paying for tuition, the mandatory fees, the on-campus housing, and the meal plans. But the schools are just letting you take out the money, and then the federal government, Department of Education, is like, "Hey, you're messing up pretty much you're messing up the structure of the loan system because you're just letting this program, like, as a collective, like you pulled out 2 million in loans, for example, and it's probably a lot more than that. I'm gonna say 10 million. You pulled out 10 million in loans for an art program that generates $500,000 from students when they graduate. The students are making $500,000 collectively, and one might be a millionaire, so it might be 1.5. The federal government is losing money on that because they're giving out money to people, because loans work like this. Federal loans, we all know how they work. They only can give out so many federal loans to the point where this person who asked for it sooner might get it, and then the person who asked later might can't get that much because federal government doesn't have that much money. And so there's not no cap like they said, so you can just keep taking them out, taking them out, taking them out. And it's not good. So they want to hold these schools accountable for that. And I don't see nothing wrong with that because there's no structure already. So at least they trying to put some structure in there, because not having structure is just going to lead us down more downhill. And I think that's why higher educational professionals, if I'm talking right now, before I get into the next segment about Columbia, I think that's why higher ed professionals they don't want the one big beautiful bill to pass, because if the one big beautiful bill passes, like I said before, presidents and execs should cut their salaries. Are they gonna cut them? Like and subscribe. I don't think they're gonna cut them though, because they just not. Higher education people are very selfish. You got to think they are very. It's like politics. Like higher education people are older. They feel like I'm 26, guys. You can't be this young in that career field. Literally, they looked at literally in interviews. I got asked like, why do I want to be in higher education at a young age? They consider this a young age because everybody's like 35 plus. So I've been asked like, why do I want to be in higher education? Like, nobody just wants. They literally, it was like nobody wants to be in higher education that young. Usually it's more like a secure job. People go do it after they do that other career field for a long time. I'm like, it's a chill job. You get to talk with parents and students all day. I like talking, obviously. And then you just be passionate about why you should go to college. No, complete opposite. It's the complete opposite. It's like, I don't know what they are looking for as far as like at least higher ed professionals. I think they care more about sports and stuff. I don't really think they care too much about students. Really, I don't think they really too much care about bettering the students. I do feel like I said, I talk about Ivies. You know, I got somebody in here who went to Ivy. They praised their Ivy. It's probably a little different on the Ivy side because at least the ones I've seen here, you just never hear nobody talk bad about Ivy, for example, right? But if you hear somebody who went to a regular public college, you hear mixed reviews. You hear some of the worst, not some of the best. And then you hear the main stigma. College, man, college ain't getting better. College ain't getting better. Or they'll say like college, they took more money from me. I'm stuck with the loans and da 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 da. So they said the bigger picture right here. We went through this whole thing because we need to know the details about the one big beautiful bill. And it's not really much on it right now, but we do know they did start debating today. And it's cold right now. And we're gonna probably start seeing Trump. I'm on LinkedIn, constantly checking before I go to the next segment. We're really like looking for Trump to apply pressure. Trump will apply pressure if the deal is not going toward what he wants it to go toward. And oh god, I seen something real quick. Give me a few seconds, guys. Give me a few seconds. So yeah, he will start applying pressure if that bill is not on his desk by, or at least before July 4th or on July 4th. So I wonder what's gonna happen if he doesn't get what he wants. What is he gonna start doing? Who is he gonna come after? Because he has been coming after everybody who think they're safe. We're not seeing much right now, which is usual. You don't see much. So yeah, I'm not seeing that from the Department of Education. That's what I really was looking for. Bigger picture, as important as the Senate provisions are for higher ed, they are not in line to sink the bill in the House. If it hits a snag in the narrowly divided lower chamber, it will be because of other issues that have divided Republicans. Like I said, Republicans don't even like this bill. You got Republicans that don't like it. We know the Democrats don't like it, and a lot of people don't like it and are against it. So keep that in mind, because they said divided Republicans like Medicaid cuts or projected deficit increases. So the Medicaid has been a big topic. So that might hold everything up, is what they're saying. So I had on here Columbia did it for the rankings. Man, Columbia always making the headlines. So I don't know how true this is. Sometimes it be crazy. Cause what Columbia did, right? What Columbia did. So hold up, Columbia's in here twice. I didn't know they was in here twice. They're in here twice. So Columbia, what they did, this the one I wanted to talk about. I don't want to talk about that one. I want to talk about this one. So Columbia had got sued for $9 million. They agreed to pay a settlement of $9 million. But $9 million ain't nothing to a school like that. Let's be honest. 9 million is nothing to them. That's like 900,000. So the university had to pay a $9 million settlement. This is important. I'm getting to it. A $9 million settlement because the institution, they said allegedly, the institution falsified data to its position in the U.S. News and World Report rankings. And what is that? So normally you probably see this when you type in like school rankings. Normally people, when they go look at colleges, they want to go to the best college in the United States. And so when they want to go to the best college in the United States or world, um, it's based off data. It's based off data, stats and data. And what people don't never get caught up in, as I always say, the last administration, Department of Education Secretary Cardona, he's even said he don't like the U.S. News and World Report rankings because what that does is it kind of makes the school do things just for the rankings, but more of all, you don't even know if the stats and data are real. Once again, you don't know if it's like, when I say real, you don't know if it's like accurate. Why? Because that's what they got sued for. It was not. It was misleading. It wasn't allegedly the right information, but you probably went to the school because Columbia was ranked higher than XYZ school. Like Columbia was one, but they really should have been like 5 or 6, for example. So people have to keep that in mind when it comes down to the pay, not pay, but the rankings. And so if we look at it, I don't think this should be long. I feel like I don't know how much you could really write on a lawsuit that was settled. And so as we started the topic sentence, Columbia University had to pay $9 million to settle a proposed class action by students who claimed it submitted false data to boost its position in U.S. News and World Reports in the college rankings, influential college rankings. It was a preliminary settlement. I said that right. Preliminary. Me and my law terms. That really be stumbled. That's really what stumbled me a lot in law words. Didn't even go to law school, but I see a lot of law terms. It's funny, right? Let me see it. Preliminary. Yeah, preliminary. A lot of law terms out here, and I still managed to say them pretty decently. I'm proud of myself every time. So, where is it's loading? Okay. Settlement, which requires a judge approval, was filed on Monday in Manhattan Federal Court. Now we fast forward. What it said right here? Students said Columbia artificially inflated its U.S. news ranking for undergraduate schools, reaching number 2 in 2022 by consistently reporting false data, including that 83% of its classes had fewer than 20 students. So as we fast forward, they said the misrepresentation enticed them to enroll and allowed Columbia to overcharge them on tuition. So now it gets a little deeper and it starts to build a case like, hold on. So if y'all are ranked pretty high on the U.S. News and World, you feel like that gives you the obligation, or that does obligate you to increase your tuition prices and mandatory fees, because you know parents are going to pay for it, because why? You want to come to one of the best schools, right? You want to come to one of the best schools in the world or United States. I know Columbia is probably ranked in the world, but you want to come to one of the best schools ranked in the world so we can increase our prices. So, okay. That's why I say it's important not to fall for these rankings, because then they can charge you what they can charge you. But the rankings sometimes are not even accurate, and people get caught up in these rankings significantly. And lawyers for students, lawyers for the students called the accord fair, reasonable, and adequate. Columbia denied wrongdoing and agreeing. Columbia denied wrongdoing and agreeing to settle. So Columbia said they didn't do anything wrong, which is probably true. Remember, when you take a settlement, settlements are usually like, hey, you agree to this, you agree to like, hey, we didn't do it, but hey, we'll settle and pay you. Do you agree with the pay? Boom. And so the settlement covers about 22,000 undergraduate students at Columbia College, Columbia Engineering, and Columbia School of General Studies from the fall of 2016 to the spring of 2022. So 22,000. Hold on, now. They got me thinking how much that is. I wonder how much that is. They got split $9 million up between 22,000 graduates. Y'all better hope. I think that's pretty decent. But I gotta get my calculator out, because you know we break down to college when we get down to when we start making our way to the end. We break down to college. And I believe we broke down Columbia already, but I'm gonna do a different school just in case. And so I would say that's pretty much. You better not play. And I want to say, because they were ranked number 2, but it was inaccurate and misleading. And then Columbia rank dropped to number 18 that year. And then in June 2023, Columbia said its undergraduate schools would stop participating in. In 2023, Columbia said its undergraduate schools would stop participating in U.S. news rankings. Yeah, because if you that school, you that school. People gonna know. Like word of mouth is still best, as I say on the live stream. If you're gonna pass along my stream on my YouTube channel, right? Pass around, speaking on behalf. Word of mouth. I'll take word of mouth over posting on social media any day, because when you get that word of mouth and people get a hold of it, then they know it's more organic, it's more authentic, right? Versus somebody seeing it on social media who don't know you and they have to do a little research. But word of mouth is so much better. It's just like you just getting that you getting somebody with like-minded kids or parents, and it's just gonna keep coming because like-minded people hang around like-minded people. So that's always good. I feel like a school like that shouldn't even be on rankings. They should just, and plus it's just a media outlet. So you know, conversation, right? So if I'm not mistaken, they all get $409. 9 million divided by 22,000. I think they all get $409 if I put the math in right and did the division right. Yeah, it's all right, right? It's all right. All right. So the Columbia topic would have been, you thought it would have been a little longer, but I figured it wouldn't be that much because we got straight to the point. But it's about those rankings. And I really want to get the rankings across because some people might think the rankings are a big deal, but the rankings are really not a big deal. And another one would be Indiana colleges chopping about 408 programs. So India colleges cut 1/5 of degree programs. India colleges. So this could be any college in, I believe, the state of Indiana, because it's somehow because it's talking about the state of states. This is a section per Chronicle Higher Education. So 6 public institutions are cutting or consolidating a collective of 408 programs. And they have a link in here. We love links. They lead us to what they want to talk about. And let's do this. Waiting on the upload. Waiting on the upload. All right. So as I check the live screen, make sure everything is good. Because we have 4 views. I'll take it. I'll take it. Can't get you every day. Can't get you every day. We can't get you all every day on the live screen. Can't get y'all every day, right? So Indiana, this is their media outlet in Indiana. So okay, by Casey Smith. The state's Higher Education Commission made the cuts official on Monday. Indiana colleges cut hundreds of low enrollment degree programs ahead of state mandate. Of low enrollment. So if you had a low enrollment program, they said program or degree, same thing, degree programs. So if you have a low enrollment degree program, as we talked about before, depending on that major could be from, if biology has low enrollment, it got sliced at the institution because it wasn't doing anything. So nearly nearly 1 in 5 degree programs will be eliminated, suspended, or merged across 6 institutions. You probably heard of some of these schools before. You got Ball State University, you got Indiana State University, you got Indiana University, and then you have Ivy Tech Community College, then you have Purdue University, and the University of Southern Indiana. And so we got Indiana University, but we also got Indiana State University. And Indiana University, I believe, is the red school, guys. I believe that's the red school, if I'm not mistaken. Indiana University, Blooming, that's like got to be the red school. Like with the, yes, that is the red school. So they're a part of this as well, as I was figuring and hoping, because they're pretty popular school. So currently the schools, it says currently the schools collectively offer about 3,400 academic programs. According to CHE, of those, roughly 2,200 are degree programs at the associate, bachelor, master's, or doctoral as of Monday, this Monday. As of Monday, 408 degree programs are on the chopping block. So, right here is a list. I cannot see that. Can I zoom in? Zoom in. Is it still fitted? Let's see. So, all right, this is beautiful. So they got a little note card at the top for us for Indiana. And it's important, guys. If you go to Ball State, listen up. Indiana State, listen up. If you're at Indiana University System, listen up because it's all in here. So total reductions 408 programs, eliminating 75, suspending slash commitment to suspend 101, merge slash consolidate, and commitment to merge slash consolidate. So some of them gonna merge, as we said before. But Ball State is eliminating 8 programs, but they plan on merging 36, which is good. Indiana State, they only eliminated 9. Nothing crazy, right? It's not specifying which 9 or anything. That would be a lot, right? But they are telling you how many. Indiana University, the most popular school, known for basketball. Legendary head coach. Um, they're red and white. They are eliminating 22 programs. But they will merge slash consolidate 63 of them. And another one on here that's popular. I want to say that's all, really, because the other schools didn't do that much of slicing. And then this other school is the Indiana University in Indianapolis. But they are suspending 35. But that's like the most other high number I'm seeing up there. And then the Ivy Tech Community College, shout out to community colleges, but they are only, scratch my back, they are only eliminating 8. Ivy Tech Community College. They're only eliminating 8, which could be a lot for a community college, but they are merging 1, suspending 1. And then Purdue University. So Purdue University, they got Purdue University at Fort Wayne, Purdue University at Northwest, Purdue University at, wow, this right here, I can't pronounce that. It's like West. How do you pronounce that? That's tough. My pronunciation ain't that good right now with that word. That's like I seen that. That's like Louisiana based. There you go, right there. Pronunciation. I always see it. Lafayette. Y'all really gonna show me the word, but not show me. Give me a word to pronounce it. I'll play it right here real quick. Y'all really trying to get me. All right, let's play it.
We are looking at how to pronounce these names, often interesting, of French origin. We'll be looking at how. We are looking at how to pronounce these names.
Wow, you didn't even say it, yo. Let me see. You're gonna say it right here.
In French, there's no stress on any particular Lafayette. In French, Lafayette.
Lafayette. So Lafayette, that's how you say it in French, I think, but Lafayette. At least I know I'm saying it right in one language. That's all that matters. So Lafayette is, where is it? So Purdue University, West Lafayette, they are And we're gonna go back to the top. Purdue University and Fort Wayne, they are merging and consolidating 39 programs. They're not even getting rid of any. And yes, Purdue University, usually there's only one Purdue University out there, but they're just gonna merge and consolidate 39. The rest of them pretty much doing the same, nothing crazy. And as you keep going, oh, so they actually did. So Purdue University, Indiana University first. They got several undergraduate and graduate programs in foreign languages such as French, German, and Russian will be suspended or consolidated. For example, and then you got Purdue University West Lafayette. They have a low enrollment master's and PhD programs in areas like literature, microbiology, mathematics were merged or were phased out. So you can't even get a master's or PhD in none of these at Purdue University at West Lafayette. And so, which means that you're going to have instructors losing jobs. Remember, it always goes back to that. And then when you start seeing these guys, like programs on the chopping block, it's going to only make you have to go to certain schools, which is going to make the price go up, as I say, for you. That's why I always say it goes back to the like prices going up, because if only certain schools are getting all the enrollments, for example, like most people are going to, like, for example, most people get their PhD in another state because everybody doesn't have a good PhD program, first and foremost. So you're going to have to you might end up having to go to a public school that's really expensive because all the other ones had lost their program credibility, or it was just like we can't really keep up and we had low enrollment. And remember, as we talked about before, the one big beautiful bill is trying to punish programs for being low enrolled, so, or underperforming. So if it's underperforming and it has low enrollment, it's getting on the chopping block essentially. So it's going to affect you as a student, because when you think you going to a certain school that you thought or knew at the time had a PhD program or master's program, it doesn't no more. And so now you're forced to go to a school that's expensive. So it's important. It probably won't hit people until they're trying to go to college, but they can always come back and watch the live stream. I always say that. Like and subscribe and share with somebody who this could possibly affect. Ball State University suspended programs that include English PhD and bachelor's in international business. That's really important. I'm pretty sure that's a common major for a lot of undergraduates. I know people at my university, Valdosta State University, who did international business, for example. But their Ball State University is on the chopping block. They're getting rid of their international business, and they're getting rid of exercise psychology. Exercise, okay, let's be clear. Exercise psychology. Hey, some of these programs were scams. I'm gonna be honest with you. Some of these programs are scams. Exercise psychology, you guys, is in the name. Exercise psychology. I get that exercise, and does require some psychology, but a degree in it is crazy. So, multiple undergraduate education programs are also on track for consolidation. Okay. And guys, if you're new to the channel, these glasses right here, these are not shades. These are migraine glasses. I get really bad migraines, like chronic migraines. So these help keep me from getting them as much. A chronic migraine is where I have like a migraine like all the time. Not a bad one, but it's constantly like I always got pressure on my head essentially. And it's not as bad as you think no more, but it's still like always there. I just got used to it. So don't ever think I'm just wearing shades trying to be cool. I get bad migraines, so it helps with my eyes. And so Ivy Tech Ivy Tech is a community college, but right here it says impacted programs include associate degrees. Impacted programs include associate degrees in public safety. So I'm assuming that's like police work. Nanotechnology. Oh, really? Nanotechnology is supposed to be important in the future, guys. I'm actually, disclaimer, I've been in a company since 2020 that does nanotechnology. But That's a disclaimer because I'm not a financial advisor. And machine repair. How machine repair is not doing? Machine repair should be important. I wonder where that school based at. I think they're also they're in Indiana, so people must not do that out there really. All right, let's keep going. University of Southern Indiana. Among the affected programs were associate's degree, and don't you ever get an associate's degree from a university. Like and subscribe. Pass this on to somebody. Share this with somebody. Clip me if you want to and post it on your social media. Remember, we got banned off Instagram. So if you know somebody or show a clip, you can even do the bad parts about me saying something crazy. Like earlier, I said something like, "Why they always focusing on low income students?" I'm from low income, if you don't know, but I say things like that to get your attention a little bit. So, but never get your associate's degree from a university. That's probably one of the most dumbest things you can do. Don't ever get associate's degree from a university. I don't care what they say, unless the tuition per credit hour is cheaper than a 2 year, which is rare, really rare. Okay, I know I'm a little southern. Rare don't sound like, I can't say it 3 times. I can't say it three. Rare, rare, rare. Yeah, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. University of Southern Indiana. Among the affected programs were an associate's degree in early childhood education, and then the MA in liberal studies, and an undergraduate electronic business degree. Okay, a master's administration in liberal studies. I would hope liberal arts, but it could be completely different. Cause I got mine. Mine was a liberal arts degree. It was an organizational leadership degree. So, but that was my bachelor's. My master's, MIS. Hopefully, my program does good because my program just opened back up at my graduate school. So hopefully, it's not. Hopefully, it's not on the chopping block. Hopefully, that would be crazy. Like my graduate program is on chopping block, not just. I'm just about to graduate from there. That'd be crazy, right? I can transfer because my program is everywhere else in the United States, or at least in Georgia, because I'm from Georgia. But that would suck, right? Nah, that's a little embarrassing. That actually got me thinking. Should I? I'm not gonna do that. 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 Programs were evaluated based on enrollment, as I said before, and completion data. According to CHE's latest degree reduction report, 75 programs were eliminated outright, including 68 with zero students currently enrolled. Wow. Some programs literally have zero students. See, that's the stuff they don't tell you. People talk about social media, right? Like not posting highlights. Think about all these universities and colleges. They never post like, hey, we got zero enrollment numbers. We need people. They don't never say that. They'll never post like they failures. They just comes to light, or you have to go really dig and look for it. So that's about the states of Indiana, right? And we are at what we at right now. We at almost. Oh no, we are at okay. We're at. That was Marie said something, and I'm laughing because I don't know what that was. It's probably a word I was trying to pronounce. I know, I know, I know. We're at an hour and 13, making good strides right now, and so it's more. That was the last one, like main things I wanted to talk about. But it's always more, right? I can't let you all go. Like it's not that simple, right? Um, Before I keep going, I get a little hydrate. I don't know how people sit on these live screens and don't drink water. They're not healthy. They don't work out. I'm convinced. People do not work out or do what they need to do because there is no way I can sit on the live screen for about 2 hours and not drink water in between. That is insanity. I seen professors have to drink water just talking for almost an hour, let alone 2 hours. Let's keep going though. Let's stay on track. Let's stay on track. Let's stay on track. Okay, okay, okay. So, wait, did anybody post anything on social media? Well, LinkedIn. Let me say that because we don't care about the little stuff. We care about the main stuff. We don't really want to hear about small town stuff. We want sharks in the water. We don't want the, you know. All right, they're not talking about nothing. Everybody's being traditional out here in higher education, so we're gonna go back to being non-traditional and talk about big boy stuff and big girl stuff. We don't got time for small town stuff. Um, where was I? What I seen one I wanted to talk about. Is that about? Nah, that's not really. For all my people out there, if you're a black student like me, Duke ends scholarship for black students after 46 years. The private institution is ending its wow. Ren, re, oh my goodness. All right, I'm gonna just do this. I'm gonna do this. That first name, I know that Reginato. It got to be Reginato. That's how you gotta say it. And you're probably looking at me crazy. It got to be Reginato. Like regional, like regional. It's Reginato. So I'm saying I'm running with that. That sounds pretty cool. So the private institution is ended its Reginato Howard Memorial Scholarship Program, which was considered merit and need in making, or it was which has been considered merit and need. It was based on merit and need to get the scholarship. That's what they're trying to say. And making awards that fully cover tuition, room, and board for top applicants of African descent. Its student newspaper reported at Duke, the university cited a legal landscape that newly hostile to race-based considerations. Wow. Funding, so it was a period. Funding that was earmarked for the scholarship would now go to the need-based aid, and a leadership program that's open to all students. Although current scholarship recipients will still receive funding. So yeah, that's Duke for you guys, and Duke is private. So if you feel some way about Duke, stop going to their basketball games. Stop supporting their March Madness and stuff if you feel some type of way. You really don't feel no type of way because you support them on other things. So don't get mad at Duke. That's all I got to say. If you're gonna not support them, do that. Henry, don't be so mean. I'm not being mean, I'm being honest. So faculty dean for slow walking student transfer. This is gonna be interesting. An analysis of 3 universities in Texas by the nonprofit Education Research Group (MDRC) found that processes are not standardized, leaving professors at four-year colleges to evaluate whether credits should be accepted from two-year institutions. Wowza! How did I miss that? How did I miss that? Like and subscribe. We about to get into some meat and potatoes for real with this one. So, professors in Texas, this is in Texas, guys. Professors have to determine like if credit should be accepted from a 2-year, and it says that can make the prospect of transferring a black box for students who don't know if the courses they completed will count toward a 4-year degree. Let's get into it. I gotta break down this. If I don't do it, then I don't know what I'm live streaming for. I got to. I'm gonna clip this for y'all right here. I'm gonna make sure I clip this one. Was it July the 2nd? I'm gonna say clip at. What we at? It's about a minute and 18. For my notes when I go back and edit. Clip at. See, one thing about being an editor and recorder, you just really gotta be on your notes, because if you ain't on your notes, you're gonna look real crazy when you're going back and editing. I'm gonna say 50 seconds. Yeah, I'm gonna say that. All right. So this is by Inside Higher Ed. Shout out to them. Credible. It's by Ashley Moreeder, if I say her name right. If it's a she, I'm sorry. But it's by Ashley Moreeder. And it's talking about how faculty stall the transfer process. First and foremost, that's bad organizational That's a bad organizational structure. Faculty should not be weighing your credits first and foremost. It should be somebody who literally has that as a job. And frankly, a lot of schools don't invest in that. A lot of schools, like and subscribe, a lot of schools actually only have like one person or two people doing that usually, which is terrible. Now, I could be wrong. They could have a department in some places, but if your instructor, your faculty is doing the transfer process, it ain't worth the money. That's a headache in itself because they have to know like if it's a deal, they need to know about the articulation agreements. They need to know like because your school can have an articulation agreement where when you complete all your prereqs, you can transfer. You don't have to get a degree. It's like it all depends on the agreement. That's why I say please check your articulation agreement with your 4 year, or check ask what articulation agreement does a 4 year have with a 2 year. And if it's with your dream school, we about to drop a video pretty soon. Don't ask me how soon, but soon because it's a video about that. It's about how to go to your dream school because every 4 year has an agreement or articulation agreement, a pathway agreement with a 2 year. If they don't, then you shouldn't go to that 4 year because most schools know like it's getting real hard to make college accessible. And like I said, the public would rather keep you ignorant than keep you intelligent. And so you really have to get intelligent because if you're relying on YouTube University, if you are relying on Instagram, AI, like AI is cool and all, but AI is not going to make you smarter. And so, or more intelligent. So you really have to like get your education and read some books. So before we about to keep going, and then we got something from the chat. So real quick, guys, before we keep going, I'm going to the chat real quick. Alice Marie said something. Alice Marie said, "What advice do you have to combat all this? Because it just seems all negative. I just want to go to school and get my degree. It seems all negative because I give you the truth. Um, you know, I give you what higher education and what colleges can give you. So the advice I do have, you did say advice, right? Yeah. I just want to go to school and get my degree. Why does your video sound like the man from Thriller? LOL. Huh? The man from Thriller. My video or my voice? Is the video audio messing up? Alice Marie, before I talk? That's not good. I would unplug this headphone set if it is. Is the audio good, Alice Marie? And then you see, the chat always goes mute on you sometimes, guys. I mean, then you start talking, they come in with stuff. Then when they, so if y'all can't hear me though, I'll come in a little bit. Alice Marie said, "What advice do I have to combat all of this? Because it all seems negative." And Alice Marie said, "I just want to go to school and get my degree." So there could be somebody out there, right, who probably doesn't even know about all this, and they could be wondering the same thing. Like a person can wonder the same thing even though they're not paying attention to it or even aware of it. And what you can do, if you ask me, just start at a 2 year. If you feel like college is gonna be too expensive, start at a 2 year, as I always say. And then, but make sure the 2 year is affordable. And what does an affordable 2 year look like? Affordable 2 year looks like to you like, can I pay this in cash? If something like an administration like this comes in and take away your grants and aids, can you pay with your own money from your job for college? And so that's why I say purchasing power. So like my goal was to always at my 2 year was to be in the 1,000 to 2,000 range. And then for my university, the goal was to be in the 2,000 to 2,500 range. Cause I knew if I worked a job, if everything just failed on me, I could still pay that with a job. And some people might think it's stressful, but now most people nowadays got two jobs. So my advice to Alice Marie is like that's the advice I would give. and communicate with a 4-year. Like you're an undergraduate, like communicate with a 4-year. Something just came down. Okay. I say communicate with a 4-year about articulation agreements because articulation agreements are positive. They're helpful. And then if you ask about them, guys, it goes deeper than what I'm telling you on the surface level. Like that can bridge you all the way up to like you never know. There are some crazy agreements out here. Like you tell y'all hear them sirens? They pretty loud. They pretty loud, right? I feel like y'all heard it. I feel like you can hear it. And so you never know what agreement schools might have. Like you say, hey, you talk to the 4-year. You say, hey, y'all do articulation agreements. Do you have a list of the schools that y'all have agreements with? And then you'd be like, but more with 2-year colleges, not 4-year to 4-year, because it makes no sense for you to transfer from one 4-year to another 4-year. Like you're automatically going to be losing money if you started a 4-year and transfer to another 4-year. Then you have to worry about this article we're about to talk about. So transferring from a community college to a 4-year institution can be, they're using this word. I'm assuming it can be difficult because they used a very complex word. And I hate when they do that, man, because they know, man, like most people don't know these words, man. Most people. And so this is the word they use.
Arduous.
I'll turn it down a little bit.
Arduous.
Address.
Arduous.
Address.
Arduous.
So this word means involving or requiring strenuous effort, known as difficult. I figured that's what it was. Like I said, difficult. But you could just tell by the way it was in the sentence and comprehension. But transferring from a community college to a 4-year institution can be difficult and complicated, lacking in streamlined support for students. Yes, when I was transferring to my university from a 2-year to a 4-year off that topic sentence alone, when I was transferring, guys, it was a process. It was not cake. Let me tell you why it was difficult. It was difficult because I had to keep track of my school was not keeping track, you would think, but my academic advisor at my 2-year, they were not keeping track if my credits were good with the university I intended on going to. So what I did every semester was that I called my Valdosta State University. At the time, that's the school I wanted to go to, but I didn't know if my school still had that agreement with them, my 2-year. So if my 2-year said, oh, we don't have this, they're not, for one, my 2-year is not gonna tell me. It would just be like, it expired. Real talk, it expired. So I called every semester at the university, talk to the right person. You need to talk to somebody in transfer and credit evaluation. They're gonna have a fancy title, it could be a different title. You need to call them you need to call them per semester. You need to call them fall, spring, summer, because they open year round. And say, hey, I just took so and so, so and so. Are y'all gonna take this? And then they might say no. Then they say, what's the they're gonna ask you like what's the, it's like we call it in Georgia 1101. Or in other places it might be like 101. They're going to ask you that, and then you need to say those numbers, and then what's the name of it, chemistry or blah blah blah, because they have their system and how they look at it and evaluate it, and they'll tell you on the phone. And so I call them every semester, and then I follow up with the next question. I'll go through a range of like, hey, do y'all still take credits from this institution that I'm at? Because if they don't, I'm gonna just go to the next school. It's that simple. And so you have to do that, and it's complicated. And I was doing that myself. I was on paper. I was on paper, guys. I was on paper, like writing it down. I did not have a fancy Excel sheet. I did not have a fancy Excel spreadsheet. I did not have a high-tech CRM. I didn't have none of that. That would have been nice, but I didn't. And so I had to track it on paper when I took it. Boom, 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 boom. Like, oh shit. I'm like, oh shoot, I'm almost done. So they're saying it's difficult. And then this was reported. It says we read that already. Like literally, that was in the brief description. So we read that. So now it says right here, the findings published in a June report point to the critical role of faculty in assessing student learning at two-year colleges. They found that transfer processes are not standardized, leaving instructors at your institutions to decide which credits can be transferred. Imagine your instructor. Imagine an instructor at a 4-year, a faculty instructor, determining what credit transfers. For one, it shouldn't even be a freaking instructor evaluating the credits because it's not their job to. There's so many stipulations that go into that. Should be. But most of all, they said there is not a standardized method on transferring credits, which means there's no process. There's no structure. As I told you, in higher education, it's the wild, wild west out there. Like every person for themselves in higher education. Like there's no structure on how much money you can borrow. There's no structure on how much we can raise tuition. Like and subscribe. There's no money, how much, there's no limit on the enrollments. What's their name? Presidents and execs just build on like campus amenities. They add all these room and boards. Nobody's stopping them. Nobody putting no structure on them. Guys, there's no structure in higher education. And I can't stop stressing that enough. And it doesn't surprise me that the credit transfer process, which is very important, doesn't have a standardized method to it. So the report also recommends better data collection to track transfer student outcome. So as we keep going, community college transfers often lose a large number of credits during the transition or graduate with excess credits during that transition. I'm just say transition. They said with excess credits that do not fulfill degree requirements. I talk about this a lot. Dang, I love this article, guys. I'm going paragraph by paragraph. I'm not going through the whole paragraph, but paragraph by paragraph on top of sentence. So community colleges transfers often lose a large number of credits during the transition or graduate or during the transition. So I tell students all the time, students be quick to transfer from a college. Students be quick to transfer. Simple. They be quick to transfer. They'll do like 1 semester, maybe 2 semesters at a community college. And then actually you can do a lot of classes at a community college. And you can get, so what most students fail at, they take credits. They take the math, like you're supposed to take the math, the English, right? And then they take some other things that are offered at a 2-year, which are accredited. Hopefully your 2-year is accredited. And so when they take them though, kids think they know everything. Students think they know everything. And they don't. Because where it gets tricky, you might listen to me and then you might run off and then listen to me fully. So why do I say the articulation agreement? This is why I say when you transfer, you need to be under the articulation agreement. This is why. You can take the same classes. I take all my 2-year classes, right, that qualify me for a associate's degree in general studies, right? I transfer under the articulation agreement. Like and subscribe. I transfer under the articulation agreement and they take all my credits. Why? Because I'm under the articulation agreement. You take all your classes and get your associate's degree at a 2-year and you transfer to the university, but you're not under the articulation agreement. What that mean, Henry? That means they're not going to take all your credits. Why? Because they can do that. It's pretty much like, you ain't under the articulation agreement, so pretty much we can say, we want them to stay here longer and pay more, and I just help make the school more money. And then you might go on LinkedIn and see like a school bragging about, oh, I helped make the school. They might not boast it publicly, but definitely in interviews, they might say, I helped the school have incoming revenue of $100 million. How? Because it's it's bad to say, it's kind of a school's goal to make you pay more money. In some schools. That's why I say don't go to schools that are for profit. You have literally, if you go on Google, you type in a college, it's gonna say for profit, and then it's gonna say non-profit. If you go to a for-profit school, that would be more the idea, more like salesmen's, more like, oh yeah, come to this school. You don't even know if the school's accredited. Some schools are for-profit and not even accredited, and people still go to the school. So that's why I say transfer under the articulation agreement, guys, because when you transfer under the articulation agreement, it's safer and smoother. Most kids just transfer and they don't think about that. They just try to hurry up and get to the big and better school that's gonna charge them a foot and a leg. Then they go into the Biden administration saying, you gotta cancel my loans. You gotta cancel my loans because I didn't know. But the information was there. I wasn't there at the time, but now I'm here now. Telling you, don't do that. Be patient. See if your school got articulation agreement. Saves you time and money. And then when you transfer to the university, stay off campus. Like and subscribe. Stay off campus and don't get a meal plan. You will thank me later. Trust me. You will thank me later. Let's keep going. So, just over half of transfer students at public institutions in Texas earn a bachelor's degree within 4 years of transferring. That is true. When I transferred to my university, this is Texas, but in Georgia, that's true. I did it in Georgia. I did the experience. That's how I got my debt-free degree. I got the experience. I don't know what these other folks got. Talking about, you know when you go to a different YouTube channel, they talk about, oh, this is how I got a debt-free degree, and then they say I got all these scholarships. I applied to all these scholarships, and that's how I got a debt-free degree. Or they give you some rigorous, like, you just need to work. And don't get me wrong, you need to work, but they tell you, like, work and then save up all your money and then, try to give you all these unrealistic hack, like H-A-C-K. Like, man, that's not real. Like, we really do this over here in higher education. We do this better than anyone on your YouTube channel that you watched before. We ain't doing no day in life. We ain't doing all of that. We really do this. Like, we really got degrees and do this. We lived it. So when I went to my 2-year and I transferred to my university, I was only at my university for a year and a half. So I ain't gonna lie, this gonna be a little conceited. But I wasn't there partying, bro. Like, I was out. Like, if I had started school on time, like, if I knew this method ahead of time, I would have graduated in 3.5 years for sure. But I graduated in 4 because I started a year after high school. So I was doing trades my 2016 to 17 year. No, my 2017 to 18 year, Lord. My 2017 to 18 year, I was doing trades. Then that summer, I started hitting it hard on my degree, like going toward my degree. And so I started 2018 and graduated in 2022. And I graduated, and it took me really 3.5 years to get my degree. It probably took me 4 because I went to the military in that process, but it took me 3.5 to get it, really. And so you do graduate a little faster, or 4 years, but you do graduate faster if you ask me. But I wasn't, like I said, guys, it's not likable now, but I wasn't getting caught up in partying. You feel me? Like, a lot of college students waste a lot of time, and then you expect, especially in this time, you really expect the time now to party in college, have a good time in college, at least in this day and age. Not me. At least not, I ain't gonna say that part. But you really think they finna give you a job out the gate? Some people are getting jobs out the gate, making real good money. Do not get me wrong. But you can't beat something that's making you money. Historically, gonna do, disclaimer, not financial advisor. Historically, the stock market is gonna do, S&P is gonna do historically 8% or more. And not to imagine if you get a dip and you keep putting the money in there. And like, you can't imagine that. Like, and I learned that while in college. Like, it wasn't that, don't get me wrong, guys. It didn't take me that long to learn the basic. Like, to get advanced though, that do take time. But to learn the basic, nah. I can care 3 cents less or $100 million less about partying in college and man, my college experience was fun and constantly visiting a college and donating money to a college that don't even love you back. Like, what are you doing? You sound like a sucker right now about a college who don't even care about you. If they really cared about you, they'll call you. If they really cared, they send you an email asking you for money. Then they got the nerve to ask you for money at your graduation now. How the nerves on you? Why don't you just go to your millionaire donors and multimillionaire donors and your secret donors that invest like millions of dollars into the college? Like, why are you asking me? Oh, because colleges are really needing for money. They really need your money now. Why? Because they know they messed up. As I always say, they messed up. They care more about. You said this like 20 minutes ago. Alice Marie, no, don't come for me. Don't come for me, Alice Marie. Oh, okay. It's one of my pronunciation videos. Okay, okay, okay. I just wanted to make sure. I just wanted to make sure. And so, yeah, colleges know they messed up. They invested wrong, terribly wrong. They did. And so, like I said, I feel no sympathy for them what they going through right now at all. So let's keep going. Um, it says according to data from the Community College Research Center. There's a Community College Research Center. I got this bookmark, don't it? Nope, I do now though. It's a whole Community College Research Center. Shout out to Inside Higher Ed. Sorry about that loud noise outside. Shout out to Inside Higher Ed because I didn't know there was a Community College Research Center. And I wonder, I really do wonder, I'm gonna refresh my page on here. I really do wonder if are we gonna talk about that this upcoming fall semester in college or in graduate school, my grad class, because I definitely just bookmarked that and I closed it out. Why did I close it out? Why did I close it out? Like I'm not gonna look at it after the live screen. It says one study of a Texas public four-year institution found that transfer students tend to graduate with 17 excess credits, 10 more than their peers who didn't transfer. Unnecessary credit accumulation happens if certain credits from elective courses, for example, do not apply to a student's major program, or if the receiving institution does not believe the community college course is a suitable substitute for its own program requirement. So what I mean by that, guys, or what they mean by that, I know exactly what they mean by this, and I'm gonna put this in here if it lets me put all of it in there. Hurry up. So what they mean by that is that, so remember I told you guys I took welding my whole 2017 to 2018 school year, right? And so, yeah, I can't put the whole thing in there, but I will put majority in there. Alice Marie, I'm not finna entertain you right now. UNG, y'all been cutting up on me lately. Y'all been trying to get me off topic. Who coming to get me? Don't say who coming to get me, please. Don't say that. Hold on right quick. I'm pasting the rest of this in here in the chat. So what I just put in there, guys, that's what I read. But what they mean, unnecessary credit accumulation. That's why I say you should be under the articulation agreement. Because remember, I said I did welding and a certified manufacturing specialist my first year of college. So essentially, I didn't lose time. I helped myself out on accident. It was all accident, but it was all planned with God. It was all planned. I'm telling you. Because when I transferred to my university, they accepted my welding classes as electives, as 1,000 and 2,000 level electives. In some cases, if you're in a different state, it's like 100 or 200, right? It's 1 and 2. It's always 1 and 2, 1 level and 2 level, pretty much. Most people take like PE, or they'll take like some, something that's not related to their course, and that can be used as an elective, guys, for your that can be used as an elective for your 1 and 2 level, you had to take electives when you're getting your degree. Why? I don't know. That's part of the degree plan. They make you take electives. So when I was under the articulation agreement, like those extra credits they talking about, extra credit accumulation, I was able to use mine. So when I got to my university, I ain't had to take gym classes. I didn't have to take, if your school got cooking, if your university got cooking, or if your university got something that can qualify as a 1,000, 2,000 elective, I didn't have to take that, which saved me a lot more time. I was in the bad. And most people don't know about this. Most people don't know about this. So yeah. So I got more educated. I got a trade in the process of it. Do I want to use that trade? If I'm down to my last, I would use that trade skill. I have to refresh on it a little bit, but I would prefer not to use it. But if I got to, I would use it. And so, fun story about welding. I welded so much, guys, and messed up my boots. My boot, the bottom of my boot came off one day when I was walking. 'Cause I used to wear those boots just to wear them. And I was wearing them one day, and the bottom of them, like the spark, the what is it called? The stick. We call it welding stick, but it was so hot, it caught the bottom of the boot and melted through the boot. And when the boot came, literally, I was walking and I felt the ground a little. Why I feel the ground? And it came off. It was embarrassing a little bit. It happened when I was at home, but it was embarrassing. I was walking outside. And then it's funny though. And so faculty members play an outsized role in this process. They said they are as the primary decision makers about academic content requirements within their disciplines. Faculty members exercise discretion in determining how transfer credits apply to degree programs, even within the framework of state and institutional transfer policies. So, guys, I'm saying it now. Schools need to reinvest. They need to invest in more credit transferring process people. You should have 1 to 2. It's going to be a little pricey, but colleges have the money where they can have some people in each department that goes through these credit transfers and evaluate these credits, but they don't. They probably have, knowing a college, they probably have one department and it's probably like 4 or 5 people, which is not enough. And they probably have those 4 or 5 people going through the entire university, not 2-year college, which is small, the entire university credits. And it's stressful because most schools got like 22,000 students. And you got 5 people going through all the credit transfers and stuff, just for example. So they used the methodology. They said the report outlines transfer credit evaluation at 3 universities: the University of Texas System, UT Arlington. I think I said it right. Arlington. Let me know in the chat if I said that right. Y'all know me. I'll say some words wrong in a heartbeat. UT Arlington, and then UT El Paso and UT Taylor. So University of Texas Tyler. Oh, I said Taylor. Tyler. University of Texas Tyler. It's a lot of T's in here. They said researchers applied a mixed methods approach, including semi-structured interviews with 44 faculty members, advising staff, registrar officers, and administrators. Analysts who evaluated student data at UTA and UTIP from transfers who entered the institutions between August 2016 and August 2022. One of the challenges researchers faced was inconsistencies in data collection, storage, and use of transfer data, meaning processes could not be compared between the 2 institutions. Let's keep going. The Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board created various initiatives to facilitate transfer from the state's 50 community college districts to the 6 public university system, including Lower Division Academic Course Guide Manual, the Texas Core Curriculum, and the Field of Study Curricula, as well as statewide reverse transfer. So I literally have a video on reverse transfer, guys. A reverse transfer is when you go to a university, you start at the university your first 2 years or whatever, or your first year, and then you transfer back to a 2-year college. That's a reverse transfer. That's a reverse transfer. That's a reverse transfer. Yeah. And a lot of people do that. They started a 4-year and then they bridge back to a 2-year, which is backwards. But you don't know. Some people don't know. Then they learn like, oh, I can save money in college, so they hurry up and go back to 2-year. That is a reverse transfer. And so we have a video on it. We could talk more about it. Let me know in the comment section. You know, let me know. Let me know. Let me know. And so that is something else. They said the credit transfer process involves multiple institutional departments, and it's a manual process. It's a manual process, and it's probably so unorganized. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Higher education needs a lot of technology tools to make the streamline and make higher education more efficient. This right here, the course recorded, evaluated, transfer credit system, definitely needs a technology tool to make this better. Because higher education wants to do everything manual, and you can't do everything manual in higher education, especially the way they want to work. You can't do everything manual. So, as I keep going, because this is our topic right here, guys, they're talking about the average student. The average student's credit transfer process can be largely automated under existing articulation agreements. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Excuse me, guys. Excuse me. So we got something beautiful in here. They said the average student credit transfer process can be largely automated under existing articulation agreements or rules for general education requirements or other courses mapped out on a degree pathway. Guys, exactly what I said. It can be automated. It can be so smooth if you do the articulation agreement and start at a 2-year. It can be so smooth. It can be so smooth. So smooth. They saying it, but people don't use it. And they go ask freaking Biden or these presidents. They ask the execs. You asking them to bail you out, and the information is out here. And I'm from low income. They always talk about low income, low income, low income. Then you say, oh, I'm from low income. Then they say, oh, you an exception though. You ain't like everybody else. What? What is it? How am I not like everybody else? I don't make $500,000 a year. I don't make $1 million a year. I'm not like these college presidents out here. I don't make $1 million. I'm as normal as the low-income student. I just went and found the information. I was in the college schoolhouse. I asked the questions. Stop making excuses. Those are excuses. As my dad would say, those are excuses. Ugh. Get me hyped. I don't care how many people in here. It's still, they need to hear it. They gonna feel it when they click on this video, if they stay long enough. Shoot. Man. So, we don't care about that school. They talking about specifically colleges and stuff. They don't deserve recognition. It's not a good recognition. It's terrible recognition. And then they talk about the interview again, and that's pretty much it. Man. Where we at? 151. It's almost about that time. All right, guys. We got to break down our college because I'm hot. Since we were talking about Texas, we're going to do Texas. University of Texas. We're going to break down the University of Texas real quick. That Texas right there. That Texas. That's their sign. So we're going to break that down, and that's going to be our closeout. University of Texas. For all my people out there in Texas. So, my college scorecard is not up here. Then I got I can't see my keyboard, y'all. It's a little dark. My screen y'all see my screen a little low. I'll put it up there. So, hey, y'all ever know them parents, they be like, see you. You better be cutting up now. See you. Don't be playing with me now. Oh, yeah. That'd be funny. And them sirens, they coming to get y'all. That's probably what Alice Marie was talking about, them sirens. I just thought about that. Talking about they coming to get you. I just thought about that. That's probably them sirens she was talking about. Alright. So, University of Texas. I'm finding their tuition and fees, guys, as I'm setting up. University of Texas. Austin, Texas. And they public. Yo. Where they at? Why are they saying North Texas? They not North Texas. University of Texas at Austin. That's their name. University of Texas at Austin. Oh, what? Anybody know what the market looking like? I have not checked the stock market yet this morning. I hope everything is good. And guys, I'm not gonna tell you no story. As we keep live streaming, this is a good time right now, but we might have to move our live stream time because I do want to check the markets in the beginning and see what the stock market is looking like. We'll talk more about that. But I'm really considering it because the market opens at 9:30. We live stream at 9:30, so considering moving it like to 11 and 12ish. But we'll see. We'll see. So, okay, I got the University of Texas at Austin. Now I just need to find their tuition and fees, right? So, guys, if this is your first time watching me break down a college, I usually do their tuition and fees. So, I go on Google, I type in the college name exactly. Then I type in, along with that, I say tuition and fees. And what that does on Google, I don't go off of Google because Google makes it confusing. It's misleading. It's not accurate. I go to the actual school website and I usually find like tuition rates or cost and tuition rates or tuition and fees. And so then I click on something that I feel like that could be it. Like right here it says tuition rates. Right here it says the University of Texas Board of Regents is authorized to set tuition. Should the board approve tuition increases for 2025-2026 academic year, the rates will be available on this page. Now, speaking of Texas real quick, Texas had just, I remember it was during like, maybe like, it could be a year ago now. It could be time be flying, it could be a year ago. They had just did a tuition freeze. But it said right here, because the governor did the tuition freeze in Texas, in the state of Texas. But it says right here, the University of Texas Board of, I said Regents again. Regents. Don't get me, Alice Marie. Regents. So the University of Texas Board of Regents is authorized to set the tuition. I think that's crazy. But we'll keep going. Staying on topic. So we focus on undergraduate when we're breaking down the college. So if you want to go to Texas, listen, or the University of Texas at Austin, we're about to tell you their prices. At the end, I give a rating on the A to F scale. I have not given a school an F yet. I feel like that's really harsh. But I do give them like mostly C's because usually universities, the return on investment is not good. And then I'll be like, can I start there and finish there? If I can start there and finish there from a university, they can get a B or A. Some got B's, because if you transfer there, you can still manage to get a debt-free degree. I feel like if you save your money up right and do what you need to do, handle your business, you could get a debt-free degree. But if the prices are too crazy, you get a C or you get a D because you're just passing, which most schools are doing. They're just passing by, taking your money. So fall and spring tuition rates of 2025, 2026. They have it on here for us. It's in a PDF. Let's see. So I'm gonna zoom in. All right, I got that up. They have it specified by majors, which is, I guess, good. Um, don't know why they did that, but we will get into that because they broke it down by majors. So a common major, yeah, that's not accurate. That's not even helpful, like at all, because I already know the tuition per credit hour. But that's how they get down over here at the University of Texas. So I'm gonna pick a major. Actually, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna look at all the rates and then do my best to come to one like round number. That's what I could do. And then we're gonna do this. So graduation rate at University of Texas at Austin, at Texas at Austin. I feel like I said that fast. They have a graduation rate of 85% on the 100% scale, so that's a B. And then remember to like and subscribe. So the median salary, I'm gonna go in order, and then the average annual cost is 19. It's pretty much 20 grand to go there per year, which is 20 grand divided by 2 should be 10. 20 grand divided by 2, yeah, 10 grand. It's about 10 grand to go there per semester. But we gotta fact check it. That's what we come in at. We fact check it. We break it down. And then what I don't like about school, so University of Texas has already been a little funny with me because they're not showing me their housing. So now I got to make another tab during the live stream. Excuse me. And I have to I have to go find their housing. And sometimes the housing don't be on the same page as the meal plans. Because housing is so expensive, they want you to go look for it. In most cases, they don't want you to find it. They just want you to get the bill and pay the bill. So that's what we're doing on this live screen. And so, yeah, this they sign. They be like, throw them up, you know. Should throw them prices up. That's what I say. Pay up. That's what I tell you. So right now we're on housing and dining. So usually I go to residence halls. That's usually what it is. Make sure you right click because it will keep you on that same, it'll get rid of what you was on. So I always right click into another tab. As I'm looking for resident hall prices, it's right over here, resident hall rates to the right on the University of Texas. I'm still digging, of course. And as I keep digging, close my eye right there. As I keep digging, because I felt like I couldn't see over here. So the current rates for 2025, 2026, fall and spring. Once again, they're beating around the bush. Oh my. Please tell me that's for the year. Let's see if this is for the year. These rates are both for fall and spring. All right, perfect. Good deal. So I found the rates. And they're crazy. So now I'm gonna zoom in over here. I wish y'all could see this. But again, when we keep upgrading, as long as you keep liking and subscribing and I'm giving you the right information and you passing this around, we can take that money and invest it back into the business so that we can elevate the studio so you can see how I'm doing this process. It's very unique, it's very simple, and all I do is have a calculator on the computer. I like to write it down, but I know I'm just doing it for you all and breaking it down. So let's keep going. And I don't have a fancy computer. I just have a regular old HP computer. We got free advertisement. So clear that out. And so I'm seeing 17, 2000, da 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 da. So I don't even think this includes the mandatory fees either, guys. So the mandatory fees, how you not give me the mandatory fees? They make my job so hard. It's okay. It's gonna be too much money anyway, so I won't even include the mandatory fees. It'll just make y'all grade lower since I can't find it. Architect, 2000. So the most I see starting out is about $2,000. So I'm gonna do $2,000, guys. It seems like that's about the same. So if you do 12 credit hours and you're looking at like 2,000, so you should be looking at about 6,500. 6,500. So I'm gonna say 6,500 as far as in your tuition, and that's per semester, guys, per semester. And then right here, so I got to do that times 2 because fall and spring. So you're looking at 13,000 already alone at the University of Texas. You're looking at 13,000 in tuition. This does not include mandatory fees. And so, ooh, it's bright in here. And so, where is the residence hall? So residence hall for fall and spring, on the low end, you're looking at 14 grand for both semesters. On the high end, you're looking at 20 grand. I'm not exaggerating. So if you are the typical person, and as I like to say, you like me from low income, if I was getting ready to start college, I would do the most cheapest one. And I'm gonna be honest with you. They saying the lowest, you tell me if this is worth it. You gonna pay 14 grand. I don't care where you at in what state. You willing to pay 14 grand for a shared space and a community bathroom. You gonna share a bathroom and a shared space for 14 grand? You can get that by getting some roommates and getting your own bathroom and your own living space in an off-campus apartment. That's what I did at my university. Let's keep going. So on the low end, you're gonna do 14 grand for both, because for fall and spring. So you're gonna add that 14 grand to that 13. This is for your school year. Plus 13. That's $27,000 right there, guys. And we haven't included the mandatory fees. We haven't even included our dining prices yet. So then I'm going to go find dining, because dining is not even that far from here. So now I'm going to dining, and I need to see the meal plans. So now I'm about to add my meal plans up. I want the resident hall meal plan. I don't want the faculty and staff dining dollars. I don't want that. Yeah, that's another game I used to do, guys, because I work full time at the school. I used to go eat in the dining facility for like $6. I was hacking. Now I was really hacking. Cause I was like, I work here full time. They was like, yeah, you can go eat at the dining facility. The kids pay way more money for it, so you know, thank you. Thank you, students. I used to tell them thank you all the time. I used to treat the students like officers. I used to let the students cut me. I'd be like, you can go and get it. You paying for it. I'm just paying $6. I'm not paying for it. And I'm a student with you. But you try to tell people that, then they look at me crazy. So, flex meal plan, man, we don't want it. Where's the prices? They don't want to give us the prices. We already at $27,000, guys, for the school year. This is way too much money. I don't pay this in graduate school. And I go to Georgia State. I go to a big school like this one. I don't pay this much. Where is it? Okay. I'm getting a little frustrated because I can't find it. So, since I cannot see it, guys, I'm gonna just throw. No, that's dining dollars. So they're hiding the prices from you all again, as we always say. I'm gonna click on a few more things. I'm trying to be generous. I'm gonna go to dining services. That's not really helping us get the prices we need. They just show you the meal plans. They're not showing you how much it is. Wow, they're very good at this. At least at hiding them. So the plans, 60 mil. Maybe it is that cheap. Okay, yeah. Okay. They got good prices. They meal plans are very good prices. I guess it makes up for the housing, I guess. So on the low end, you're looking at $325. Middle 600. The unlimited 1650. So we're gonna do 325. What's 325? Cause I would love if I had math like that top of my head. That's 10. 4, that's 5. Is that 3? That's 3. 5. That's 650. I thought so. Cause 3. No. 10. Yeah, 650. Yeah. Should have known that. I should have known that mentally, but I be doing multiplication so much. So 650. So you're looking at 27,650. 27,650 for your fall semester at the University of Texas, guys. At the University of Texas, you're looking at 650. You're looking at $27,650. Now on the College Scorecard, they said you're looking at an average annual cost of $19,000. They're wrong. The College Scorecard is not accurate on this because we did the low end. Now, granted, the U.S. Department of Education College Scorecard includes like if you will get financial aid, if you're going to get the grants, or if you're going to get some things to help knock off that price. Like I said, it's misleading. That's why we always calculate it ourselves. You're looking at 27,650 for a 4 year for the upcoming 2025 to 2026 school year. Now you have to multiply that by 4 because you're going to be there for 4 years, right? So now you're going to pay $110,000 or $111,000 to go to the University of Texas at Austin. Is it worth it? I don't know. But it says right here that, I'm saying I don't know, but I'm going to keep going. But it says it's a special destination for Asian American and Native American Pacific Islander serving institution. It's a heavily Hispanic serving institution. That's what they saying. That's what they say on the U.S. Department of Education College Scorecard. So as we keep going, remember I said you're looking at an average of $111,000. They saying like when you graduate from the University of Texas after 10 years being removed, if you was a student that received like a financial aid of some sort, you should make over $75,000 or you should make below $75,000. You're losing money on your return on investment right there. So I ain't get to my part yet at the end. Let's talk about graduation and retention. Students who return, they have 96% of the students return after their first year. That's pretty good. We already talked about graduation rates. The financial aid and debt. They saying you're gonna average you're gonna have a minimum debt of either $20,000 or more or under $20,000. So I think that's accurate because you're looking at $27,000. Students receiving federal student loans, they say 27% receive them. That's kind of high. That's very low. That's very low, but they receive them. And then we're gonna close that out. Is it getting into some details? They even added on the repayment rate. They said 33% of students are making progress on paying back their student loans. 21% are not making progress. 20% paid in full, and 12% is deferment, and then 8% is forbearance. These are such financial literacy terms. They got delinquent, and so more. That's a good breakdown. But the University of Texas, they got 33% of their students making progress on them loans. So that lets you know where they standing. Students are getting loans from the University of Texas, if you want to go there. And then we talked about the earnings. And then they said 83% of the students are earning more than a high school graduate. That's a B. That's pretty good, but it's almost a C. Keep that in mind. We talked about the diversity already a little bit. Test scores. They said University of Texas at Austin has a 29% acceptance rate. Now they said they do SATs and ACTs, but of course, the University of Texas at Austin does not require them. Why? Because these colleges need students. So they're not trying to make it harder for you to go to college. They want to see you come. Keep that in mind. And so after all of that, after reviewing, like I said, I'm looking at $111,000 to go to school here. That is a bad return on investment. I wouldn't transfer to this school at all. So there's going to be a C. No, a D. It's going to be a D. I rate the University of Texas a D. Why? Because if I transfer to this school, I would still be in student loan debt. If I transferred to this school, I could not get a debt-free degree. I can't get one of those back there. So if I can't get one of those right there, oh, you probably can see. If I can't get one of those right there, I don't need to go to this college. Because we gotta, let me see. Take that off. That's coming off. We gotta count this. Right here. I should have pulled this out when G was on. We gotta count this right here. For everybody, you come through this live screen, you see this right here. It's not real. But you know, money dreams. It's a reason why it's in this cup right here. It's in this 2-year alumni cup right here. You feel me? Because you know all we do is make money at the 2-year. I can't stress that enough. But look, yeah, they are a D. They're just passing along. If you ask me, I would not transfer to this school after I get my 2-year degree. You should not transfer to this school after you get your 2-year degree. Nothing against the University of Texas. They can always reach out and we can better assess their evaluation. If they want to, spread the word, clip me, whatever. But you go to the University of Texas, more likely you're going to get student loans. Highly probability. So that's all, guys. And once again, they are a D. The letter D as in like dad. That's the rating on them. We'll clip that, add that to the list in the future. And it was a good live stream. We had some views, not our most, but we had some live streams. I feel like we have some new people in here. Shout out to the same people that do show up and show out and comment. I love the comments. Shout out to the people who thinking about coming and want to comment and stuff of that nature. Appreciate you all. I see you all tomorrow. We're going to live stream on 4th of July. We don't take no days off. That's the only reason we can separate ourselves from the competition. And I'll see you. Peace.